are live. Whoa, where's the chat? There it is. Chat has to catch up with its new format here. All right, so a bit of a mess. I was in the process of kind of reorganizing things, and I was trying to get a little Discord window with Matt on the stream. Oh, that's right, but I killed the window. That's right, the Discord call killed the window. Yeah, right. Okay, so I was going to have a little video of Matt in the corner. Hey, Matt in the chat. Yeah, but I was going to, so kind of Japanese style in a lot of the talk shows and stuff, they'll have a panel and they'll watch a video and they'll put a little reaction, a little box with a person's reaction in it. But I hung up on the video call because I couldn't get the audio to work. I was going to have Matt kind of co-hosting with me because there's no Chris, as you can tell. But since I hung up, the call, it killed the window. So I was just worried the audio was really bad. The way I was going into the board from the PC was very noisy. So we will get that figured out. We'll find a way to get audio from Discord through the mixer so I can control the levels of it a little bit and not have it sound too horrible. So it was such a mishap that I'm drinking. This is a drinking cast. This is Japanese beer, the retro Asahi. I don't have to go back to an office, so yeah, that's right. Sorry, Matt. Yeah, I totally forgot. I was going to just cut the audio and leave the video. I guess we can still do that. Do you want to bring that up? It's not going to it won't have any sound. Like I took the channel down. Yeah, we can still do that if you are near your camera. Yeah, I got so distracted with how everything else was going. Yeah, if you're still in Discord, Matt. Oh, you're still in the call, actually. Hey, let me see if I can bring that back up. The Discord video. You are still there. So yeah, there's no audio, so hopefully that will that will work. It's just the worst. Okay, wait, I gotta pop you out first, I think. All right, so now I'm doing this even worse live here. There we go. Okay. There we go. Matt is back. So we can have reactions from the the hammer wielder himself. Oh no, wait. I can't resize the video. It's got to be full screen. Okay, well, we'll just keep it full screen. There we go. All right. So good to see you. Only see you, Matt. I'm sorry. Maybe Abyss will feel violated if he has to listen to chat and audio. So there we go. We got Matt in the corner there, the patron cam. Thank you so much for going through all that with me, Matt, to try to get this serious offense. All right. Yeah, so that worked okay. It's just because I'm capturing the window, I can't size it. So it's a giant size window for me. All right. So yeah, we'll let's just get started because I have no co-host, so there's no how's it going kind of banter. We did talk about kind of Halloween weekend, not particularly horror themed, but we're going to do some try out the new Heroquest and see what the tweaks are and what everybody thinks of the half-assed miniatures that they did. And there's some Heroquest in the news this week. So no coffee this time, just Japanese beer. But it's afternoon, so I'm allowed. All right, everyone. So let's get started. Bring up the notes and we'll do this. Welcome to the weekly. I'm Jeremy. And this week, a solo cast. So no Chris this week, unfortunately, but we will be back. And we're in the midst of, if you're watching the live stream, in the midst of kind of reorganizing things. So there'll be a new orientation for our our live stream for the video. So you can check out the video. Oh, and actually we have the handles for YouTube are now a thing. So you can go to youtube.com /@upturnedtable and see the channel. And then if you subscribe, you'll get notifications for when we go live every Friday with Thursday night North American time. So this week on the weekly, Paizo PDF price increase. Well, that's almost too much, too much alliteration. Assassin's Creed, tabletop RPG, Heroquest expansion, Magic the Gathering Universes Beyond, and a nice bit of happy news, Mutant Year Zero skirmish game. So there was just an announcement from Free League. So let's start with kind of the inevitable. And I think we're going to be seeing this from other companies, but I think Paizo had to kind of bite the bullet on this one. So Paizo is raising the price of PDFs. So their digital content is seeing a bit of a price raise. And in some cases, they're actually just kind of balancing. They had kind of a range of prices for different digital offerings, and they're coming up with one price for it. And in some cases, like flip mats and cards and things, the price is going down. And I think because, that involves you doing the printing or you just using it in your VTT. So it's not, and it doesn't involve, I think what's probably happening is to make a digital content useful, they have to link it. They have to make it, they have to hyperlink it or whatever they call it. They have to, link the entries in the PDF. So in the index and everything, you can just click on words and actually go to the appropriate pages. So that takes some work. There's actually someone that has to do that. So they're not just laying out a PDF that they would use for print and then giving you that digital version, which probably was more of the previous style. But their statement says, for many years, Paizo has largely set PDF pricing as a percentage of the full price MSRP of print books. This process worked well early on. The rise of digital goods and expressions has matured, and the exceptions made for certain categories to be priced higher or lower has somewhat scrambled the logic used to build these systems. So as of October 26th, and new releases, and then I guess beginning November 1st for all PDFs. So this includes JPEGs for some maps and card products. They gave you a list in this post of all of the new pricing. So for Pathfinder rulebooks, for example, the previous price was $14.99. That's going up to $19.99. Adventure Paths are going from $17.99 to $19.99. So $5 for the rulebooks, $2 for the Adventure Paths. Things like flip mats had a range of about $9 to $10.50. Those are all going to be $10. So some of them will actually go a little bit down in price. Tiles are the same. They were $14 to about $25. They're all going to be a standard $9.99. Pawns are the same. They were $14 to $18. Now they're going down to about $10. So it looks like the biggest jump is the Starfinder rulebooks, and I think that's their newest. And maybe the thing that required some big work, and maybe because it's popular as well. So that's going from $10 to about $20. Spell cards are coming down $10 though. So I think it's because, that just involves you doing the printing anyhow. But it makes sense, though, that with the expense, like we know that paper is more expensive, printing's more expensive, shipping's more expensive. So, of course, to shift that onto some of the pricing for the digital products makes sense, because as those are becoming more popular, it doesn't seem right to just let any of that profit go that would actually help them compensate for the increased costs of doing the physical books. And I hope they do keep doing physical books. I mean, I think this is a measure to preserve their ability to produce nice full color books, which is not an easy thing, and it's just getting harder and harder. And if you're not using really cheap production means like China, you're getting hit with bigger prices, and then you're still having all of the shipping problems as well. So they went on to say, digital sales are an important component of Paizo's revenue, and your PDF purchases allow Paizo to continue producing all of our great Pathfinder and Starfinder releases. These price changes will also affect pricing discounts. So anyone that used Paizo Connect, that used for accessing the digital content, there will also be price increases. And I wonder if this affects. We know that Pathfinder, I think, and Starfinder are getting the Nexus. They're getting the Nexus digital tool set. So I wonder if that's going to affect any of that pricing. But yeah, this is kind of inevitable, and we're going to be seeing people probably do this as maybe newer gamers are switching more towards all digital. The expense of producing the physical books, they may just. I think they don't want to raise those prices to the ridiculous amount that they would need to make it a profitable venture. So they're trying to lay that off on the digital products, and as it looks like with 1D&D, they're going to start bundling that stuff together. So it's a difficult thing because I think everyone has kind of a sour taste with digital books of any kind because of the early shenanigans of Amazon in like the 2010s with their weird price fixing and everything that they got sued in the EU for. So everyone is like, this doesn't cost anything. Why am I paying? And especially on tabletops for Roll20 or whatever, you're basically paying full price you're buying the rulebook again so that you can use it in a virtual tabletop. So yeah, this is all kind of what we're going to be dealing with, and we'll see how the industry kind of deals or handles that shift. And I don't know, as screens on tablets and things get better, we may see that inevitable shift to everyone. No one slamming a book down on a table, but actually just flicking up a PDF, gesturing a PDF. So I don't know. But the thing that I don't like about laptops and tablets at the table is people flip over and they check their eBay listings and they check Twitter and stuff. If you've got a device and it's not your turn, very often people are doing ungame related stuff, which they must be doing with virtual tabletops anyhow. I know people are like listening to music in headphones when it's not their turn and stuff. So we'll see what where that goes. But I hope the best for Paizo. I hope that this whatever Wizards does to kind of shift things with 1D&D, if the majority of the market follows that, I hope that they survive this transition, or I hope they become a more appealing alternative. I hope they can do something to kind of fill the gap and look more appealing and look more thoughtful and like they care about their customers more than this one D&D will do. We'll see about that. The next thing that we had a little announcement for was CMON announced an Assassin's Creed tabletop RPG. So Assassin's Creed is, I think, about a 15-year-old console game. So I think it was a PlayStation exclusive for a while. I think it's on PC now too. But it's a very interesting concept, a very interesting setting. It's fun in the game, but I think with all the sequels, they kind of wore it out a little bit. But it's got some historical. It's got kind of high tech, virtual reality kind of shenanigans. But then it's also got a lot of historical connections. So it's a lot of period settings. So. Their publishing imprint, Guillotine Press, is working on this. And so the cool thing about the setting is you are a modern day person. So you don't really know this. When you're first playing the game, it's kind of a surprise when you jump back into this modern day guy who's like set up to this Animus machine. And basically what they're doing is like tapping into your DNA. So you'll make essentially two characters, a descendant, which will be the modern day person, and you are related to a famous ancestor. And these ancestors are part of the Brotherhoods of Assassins that, kind of politically manipulated, did, political based assassination, and were these tools of this group. And so in your DNA, you'll go back to the people that you're related to. So kind of like past lives. And they use this technology to access this and then play out these scenarios. So you'll roll a modern day character, and then you'll roll one or more ancestors, and then play in those different settings. So there could be some pretty interesting, depending on how they do it. It could be a real interesting back and forth, because the first couple of games, that was a very compelling idea and very kind of cool idea, and surprising you that so there was like conflict and tension in both times, the historical period and then the modern day. And so I think the GM is going to be the Animus operator, and you will be manipulating. So the conflict is this kind of like, secret conflict between the Templars and the Brotherhood happens throughout history, and you're part of the one of the assassins of the Brotherhood, and are in conflict with the Templars. So the game has had about 24 spin-offs. Jeez. Yeah. So about 24 games of Assassin's Creed of varying quality. So they're going to produce a deluxe set of books, game supplements, enhancements like character miniatures, because it's CMON, detailed maps, and game aids. And Francesco Nepitello, who worked on the One Ring and the Zombicide Chronicles, Dune War for Arrakis, is going to head this up. So there's a good possibility that they will hit a real nice balance with these mechanics between playing a historical period and playing in a modern day. So we'll have to see what those rules look like, and hopefully we'll get a quick start or a little sneak peek at those. And I think it might be going to Kickstarter. There's no mention of crowdfunding yet, but that's probably the case. It is CMON after all. I don't think they've gone directly to the consumer with anything for a decade now. But we'll keep an eye on that. There's no pricing or details so far, but they did announce that they're working on that game. So another licensed IP, another video game made into a board game or tabletop role play. So we'll see. They did that with it's happened a couple of times. There hasn't been anything that I thought was amazing, but maybe this will be. So we'll update you guys if we get any dates for any of that. So there's nothing to look at now except for the announcement, but I'm sure that's a future crowdfunder. And speaking of crowdfunders, so Avalon Hill has unveiled their next Heroquest expansion. It's a what they're calling a hero collection. It's so a hero collection. So this isn't going to crowdfunding, but of course, the Heroquest was crowdfunded by Hasbro's crowdfunding thing. So they got all the money. Of course, there wasn't any fees aside from banking fees that they needed to deal with. But they are releasing the Rogue Heir of Elathorn, so a hero collection set. So for $17, you get 2 of their crappy board game miniatures and some cards. So this will add a character, add another hero to Heroquest. So of course you'll need the base game. You get 12 game cards and a story card featuring an important letter from a secret group. But this is basically sounds like a rogue, like a nimble elf skirmisher that wields deadly small blades. The thing that I like about it, though, is they're kind of sticking to that old school elves don't like iron. So the hero cannot wear metal armor or shields, but they're well trained with knives. So that's kind of cool. They added an aspect, so I guess gear that you find that's armor or shields you can't equip. So yeah, a little bit of a variety for the game. We'll see what it looks like. It all looked kind of World of Warcraft to me. Their new sculpts weren't particularly compelling. It would have been nice if they would have done something a little more old school Warhammer Fantasy, Citadel. But yeah, then it's just then it's not a new game, and then it's not a reboot. It's just a retro reprint, and they don't have the rights to those sculpts anyhow because that was Citadel. So yeah, that's a little expensive for a couple of cheap pieces of plastic and a card. And it's going to come in like a big box with a big vacuum formed tray with 2 little miniatures stuck in it and some cards. But we'll see. And this is MSRP, so it could go down much cheaper than that, which I would recommend anything. Wait for because Hasbro puts it out through all of their chains. So look for it through Walmart or Amazon or whatever. You're going to get a much better price, and you're going to get the same product. The only thing that their crowdfunding offered was gender swapping of the hero characters, and that was pretty much all you got that was different. And this might be the case with this, that if it is 2 miniatures, it's just a male or female version of this character. And with elves, you never know. All right, and more. This is kind of a long thing that I really would need Matt. I need either Chris to be disgusted or Matt to do a little back and forth on this with. But Magic the Gathering. So Wizards of the Coast is keeps releasing. I've got the release schedule. I think this is just for October too. The release schedule for their weirdly popular but not popular Universes Beyond. So they're calling them. So this article called them exceedingly controversial, and they the first kind of Universe Beyond. So these are basically licensed IP reskins of Magic cards, and the Walking Dead crossover in 2020 was the first one. And I'm not sure the exact difference between these Secret Lair. So they were saying that this first appeared to be a novel kind of Secret Lair sub-brand. So maybe Secret Lair are alternative art and things, and this this Universes Beyond is their branding for all IPs that aren't fantasy, that go way outside of what Magic could possibly do, even with all of its multiverse, multiplanar stuff. But it's kind of disgusting a lot of serious players. So because it's reskins, it is desirable cards. So it's just a character art and maybe some wording in the name of the character that is changed, but basically the text of the card I think remains the same, so that it's playable within the game. So I don't know if they're tournament legal or whatever, but Mark Rosewater, the lead designer for Wizards of the Coast and Magic, has stated that in this case, success breeds repetition. So they're considering these successful because they're desirable. And I think when Wizards of the Coast is looking at Magic, the thing that hopefully they're taking into account, I don't know if companies really do pay attention to this, is Magic is kind of buoyed on this speculators market. So many people buy cases of Magic cards. Like I would really be interested if we could measure the scale, like the percentage of people that just buy sealed boxes to resell them, or just buy boxes to bust them open and sell the singles as a business. So they have no interest in playing the games, and they're just going after what will be popular sets and what will have cards that they can, take $100 for a box and turn it into $1,000 of individual card sales, if that's ever possible. And also the thing that they're relying on with this kind of stuff is the FOMO, the fear of missing out. So a lot of these decks and things they initially announced, these will not be reprinted. So this is your chance. You got to pre-order these Secret Lair drops and these other Universes Beyond. I hate this branding. So time limited, value efficient, and highly prized. Is what they're calling the cards, but they did end up reprinting them, so they're not the scarcity. They're not doing false scarcity or anything, but there is no guarantee necessarily that they will reprint the cards based on popularity. So yeah, people are just going after, because there's a little bit of power creep in Magic, so people go after new sets because they've got powerful cards. So just like any other Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon or any other card games, if you creep some powerful cards, into newer sets, people will buy them just because in play they're more powerful, and especially if you're playing competitively. So Rosewater goes on to say, there's lots of other data beyond sales metrics that we test. So people say positive things on them in the market research. Then they hit all the positive metrics we can observe. This is a designer. He's talking like a marketing geek. We can observe online things like Google Trends. The various feedback we get from partners is positive. So they're okay. So they're saying, how do you feel about Walking Dead? And people raise their head. Do you like Walking? How do you feel about Walking Dead? Mildly annoyed, somewhat annoyed. So this is okay, great. This is a way to test what IPs they should do. So we do market research, he goes on to say, because we have metrics we can observe that help us tell who is buying our products and why, because we have an entire team dedicated to understanding what is and isn't successful. And successful isn't sales. Okay, sure it isn't. So it's not good business. It is a lot of this. It's not good business to make people buy something they don't fundamentally want to buy. If we truly believe a product would be better using different flavor, we'd use different flavor. To use other people's IPs, we have to pay them. So if a Magic version would just sell better, why wouldn't we do that? So it sounds like backpedaling and making excuses. We use these IPs because people want them and there's a demand, and we've tested that. We've tested blind group, tested all of this stuff. And it seems like they're trying to do some damage control about the player base being disgusted by this. And after a $1,000 limited edition anniversary packs, I think the players have some right to be disgusted with this. We didn't go into making Universes Beyond without double checking that it had a high chance of success. Well, of course, and that's measured by sales. It's not measured by smiles. We had people at the table that gave us a thumbs up, so that means we're on the right course. But let's go through the kind of things that we're going to look forward to in October's Secret Lair Super Drops. So we're getting a Post Malone Backstage Secret Lair, and another Post Malone The Lands. Those are $30 each. Foiler 40. Warhammer 40k Orcs, Warhammer Age of Sigmar, Blood Bowl, so a lot of Games Workshop stuff. If Looks Could Kill, so illustrator Jack Hughes is doing a, I guess these are all like command, whatever the secret layers are, so commander decks possibly. It sounds like the price of commander decks, $40, or maybe they're just special cards, just maybe a small set of special cards. They're doing a special guest. So Yoji Shinakawa, the illustrator, the kind of brushy illustrator artist for Metal Gear, is doing a set. Another Japanese manga artist, Junji Ito, who is a horror manga artist. Uzumaki is his most famous, or one of the best manga that he's done. So he's got an interesting style. He's doing a set, Space Beyond the Stars, which they're calling a Unfinity theme. So that might be in one of their settings. Unfinity, Spaced Out Galaxy, and Pets, Weirdest Pets in the Multiverse. So Omar Rayon is illustrating the weirdest pets. So I guess they're, supporting some whatever the Unfinity is. So it's just a lot of random stuff, and this isn't even like the weirdest stuff. They've got Lord of the Rings is coming up, and it's just odd. And the funny thing with the Warhammer, so they're reskinning orc cards. They have orcs, of course, in Magic because they have the fantasy tropes, and Games Workshop orcs are with a K and fantasy orcs are with a C. So they have both spellings on the cards because they need the correct type and everything, because it's the text of the card is preserved and it's just new art and a new name, character name. So it's really funny and confusing and whatever. But but Hasbro did their third quarter game sales, and they are down 23% third quarter as compared to last year. They're saying digital was the biggest drop. And of course, I mean, they have to be expecting this. People were stuck inside and just kind of hoarding and spending their government checks that had nothing else to do with. Of course, digital sales, everyone's going back to work. Digital sales are going to go down. People just don't have much less time. So digital gaming numbers are on the decline, but I guess they are a $1 billion company still. So $1 billion in sales. So they're big, and they're definitely being supported by both Magic and D&D. But they can't have counted on that little that spike that they had during the lockdown unless there's a second pandemic. Yeah, so maybe Hasbro should talk to somebody about making that happen. Get those one D&D sales up. But okay, so enough of that. Let's have some good news. Let's have something to look forward to, something fun. But there's also a question that I have with this. So Mutant Year Zero is getting a skirmish miniatures game from one of the lead designers of Necromunda. So that was that headline was wonderful. So the other thing that always sells me on this is the system will let you use your characters from the RPG in the skirmish game, and vice versa. You can actually play out in RPG the kind of aftermath of a skirmish battle. So Free League has their incarnation of Mutant. So their version is called Mutant Year Zero. Their version of the classic RPG Mutant that was popular ever since the early 80s. So Zone Wars. Zone Wars is the skirmish miniatures game set in post-apocalyptic universe of Mutant Year Zero. So in 2014, Mutant Year Zero came out, and since then there's been a video game adaptation called Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden, which is very good. If you can get that cheap, if you can get that on sale and you're a PC gamer, I would recommend that. I think it's actually on consoles too. It's really fun. It's very XCOM kind of turn-based strategy, but it's post-apocalypse, and you're playing the anthropomorphic animals, ducks and pigs and stuff. So it's fun and really gives you a good taste of the setting and kind of the weird dynamics of that setting. So the upcoming miniatures game is going to be on Kickstarter November 1st. And Andy Chambers, known for his work on Warhammer Fantasy Battles, Necromunda, and Battlefleet Gothic, is the lead designer for the gameplay. Of course, assisted by Tomas Hernström, the designer of Mutant Year Zero, and also the Alien RPG. So one of the big co-founders of Free League. So you'll take a group of stalkers in this universe who are mutated scavengers, and basically you gain mutations and you become more irradiated as the game goes on. So competing in the irradiated wasteland of the zone and retrieving artifacts. So from the mysterious pre-apocalypse inhabitants known as the Ancients. So this game will be for 2, 3, or 4 players. So that's good. It's more than just a 2-player game, and it'll be small war bands of skirmishing. So the quote from Pre-League is, this game is all about embracing mayhem and emergent narrative to create fun and fast-flowing experiences. So I love the idea that it's compatible with the RPG, so you can kind of go back and forth between. So that means like stat lines and things should be fairly consistent, so you can use things in the same way. So the Kickstarter, this is the question. The Kickstarter campaign will offer 2 sets, including game rules, plus miniatures, paper terrain, dice, and cards, so everything you need to play. And they're saying the game will not require assembly, glue, or paint. So does that mean that their miniatures, are they going to do what they did with the Tales from the Loop board game and do pre-painted miniatures? That's interesting. And when they say, and also they're indicating that there is probably to try it out as a quick start, a fully playable print and play version. And when I see print nowadays, I think 3D, but that's probably putting my hopes a little too high. But there'll probably be a paper, print and play version, maybe with some standees, to give the rule set a try. But that's interesting. If they're going to go with pre-painted miniatures, that's a pricey way to go, and especially with manufacturing and everything being at its all-time worst. Maybe they think they have it managed, but it'd be cool to see some of the kind of their unique or iconic characters from that game portrayed as miniatures, and that's what they showed in. Those were probably just painted prototypes. But there's already photography of the painted miniatures in the game, and it looks really fun. So if you don't know Mutant Year Zero, it was like Sweden's Gamma World basically, but it was the setting was more focused on something similar to Roadside Picnic or Tarkovsky's Stalker, or also there's been several like PC shooters named Stalker and Ghosts of Chernobyl, or there's been several things in that setting, and basically there's some sort of ancient alien area that was affected by an alien invasion. They left behind some artifacts, which were old pieces of technology, but time and the way things work in this zone are very mysterious. But in this post-apocalyptic irradiated Earth, people are who are called stalkers, they're kind of breaking the law and entering this zone to retrieve these artifacts of the past and also of strange alien technology. So Mutant Year Zero kind of takes that and runs with it. But more recently, the theming does lead more towards the the film, and it kind of be inspired by the Chernobyl incident or Roadside Picnic. So it's a fun setting, and there is already a free. I'm forgetting what it is, but in Blaster, one of the designers does a similar kind of zone, irradiated zone, post-apocalyptic skirmish game called something Zone, probably. I can't remember. But there is already something inspired by the Stalker type setting. But this is paired with the RPG, and I just recently got a banged up a copy of Mutant Year Zero. So I now have a physical copy of the rules, not just the PDF. So this would be fun. And that was the thing with Forbidden Psalm that was exciting about that, is it's compatible with Morkborg. So I like the ability to kind of go back and forth if that's a desire to. I even saw that we're doing John Carter recently, and Modifius did some skirmish rules in the back of one of their supplements. They don't seem to be like really well connected to the RPG. It's basically made to have something to do with their John Carter miniatures that they produced, but they did miniature war game rules as well. So yeah, that's a thing, and I like I like that. So this was actually good news. I was happy to see Zone Wars being announced, and I wonder though if they're pre-painted miniatures, maybe they're just pre-assembled. I don't know, or maybe they're going to do like we've seen with Dark Tower, Return to Dark Tower. They'll do like an ink wash or something on them to make them look more finished, so they don't need to be painted. They look okay enough on the desktop, or in the desktop, the tabletop, desktop gaming. But yeah, the images they're showing though are definitely painted miniatures. So I'm not sure if they're going to do high quality pre-painted. That's crazy. It's going to push the price up though, and I think people, because Kickstarter is Kickstarter, people are going to be yelling for stuff on sprues or STL files to print them themselves. So they're going to have to contend with everybody's various choices. But I'm really excited to see some rules by Andy Chambers for a Mutant Year Zero skirmish game. That sounds great. So that is going to do it for this week. And so again, I think that was, what are we looking at? November 1st for Zone Wars. So you can find that update on the Free League site if you want to read more of the details. I think we hit just about everything. But nice. So yeah, we'll see. And this is... Matt brought up when we were having our technical difficulties that we spared everybody from on the show, that unfortunately, yeah, Free League might be getting a little bit overextended. They're getting behind with their fulfillment for the next Forbidden Lands supplement. So hopefully all this IP, and I mean, I like that, Mutant is, I guess that's licensed to Mutant Year Zero. I mean, their game mechanics, the Year Zero engine is theirs that they built for that game, but I wonder if they could lose the rights to Mutant, so they do have a lot of IPs, licenses that they're juggling recently. So let's hope for the best and hope Free League can stay on top. If they make decisions like pre-painted miniatures, that's how Rackham and some of the other companies couldn't survive, is by making those kinds of choices, like going for markets or customers that they didn't quite have the ability to serve very well. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, so that's going to do it for this week. So Chris will be here hopefully next week, and if you want to find out what Chris is up to on social media, Hive Mind with Y's instead of I's, on basically all social media. The links are in the description for this video and also for the podcast. And I do the Abuse Cartoons live stream, which was technically very challenged this week, but that's on YouTube and Twitch, and Abuse Cartoons is where you can find that. And I draw my single panel gag cartoon, 2 of those every week, and eat some Japanese junk food from the convenience store. You can read that cartoon on GoComics, so gocomics.com/domestic abuse for thousands of them. And yeah, we will be back next week. And if I can get this sound working, we can have guests pop up in windows like Matt, like the silent Matt in the corner, the silent observer, to make sure that all of this goes as planned. So if you'd like to support what we are doing and be in the window, I'm pointing the right way, and be in the window like Matt is here. I don't know what tier this is, but Matt is obviously the tier that gets you in the window on the weekly. Please consider supporting us at patreon.com/upturntable and become a weekling. A weekling is, of course, the most powerful of all patrons, and support what we're doing. We got the actual play Blade Runner series going. There's got to be more lore videos coming at some point. It's just the writing process. And we will be back next week, and hopefully we'll have a new configuration, hopefully better lighting. We'll see what happens. And please join us then. So see you then, and thanks for watching. Goodbye. All right. Well, I should do the, yeah, let me bring the chat up. Oh, I wonder what this is going to do. Let's find out. Boom. Yeah, so if you noticed in the audio in the live stream, much less dying computer fan sound. So I replaced that power supply that was making all that noise. So hopefully the live stream audio was a little bit nicer this time. Oh, that's right. Oh, wait, Matt disappeared. Wait, I can bring Matt back. Wait. It was a window capture, and it is Discord video. Boom. Hey, there we go. Matt's back. That's actually Matt's front. All right. So let's let's see what's going on in the chat. Yeah. So thanks again, Matt. Again, we attempted to make this work. We just don't have the setup working well here, and most of the better equipment is not in the office right now. Yeah, so yeah, and Matt's saying, yeah, $20 isn't bad. If they're gonna, and it's good that they're gonna try to get some, benefit out of people preferring, some people preferring digital, and actually help that pay for those beautiful books that they produce, because they do high quality, nice books. I mean, they've had a little trouble. I remember the binding on the Starfinder; they had a bad batch of those, but overall, the quality is definitely decent. But yeah, we're going to see a lot of, I think, shifts in what people are willing to pay for digital, and things might move to subscription, which is a little bit of what Paizo does. They have a subscription, either digital or physical, where they just send you the newest thing. I don't think you get a huge discount, but you get it fast, and yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe you save on some taxes or something, but shipping has made that much less desirable. But they've tried to keep things going. Yeah, definitely. Abyss was saying, the books, you need the factories, the tree chopping, and all of those things. So of course people aren't going to want to pay the same price for digital, even though some, they try to charge that sometimes. But we'll see. Oh yeah, that would be. Yeah, what would happen if Paizo kind of gave up and said we can't do this anymore, and wanted to put themselves up for sale? I wonder who would be interested in Paizo, like who would buy them. That'd be strange. Yeah, if Hasbro had, if Hasbro like used, I don't know what they would. They wouldn't want competing brands, but that would be very interesting. Hasbro WotC. So Matt said if Hasbro WotC bought them, they would just kill off Pathfinder. Yeah, that's true. That would because that's their competition. So that's probably what they'd want to do. They'd be like, oh yeah, we'll release a third edition of Pathfinder one of these days and just bury it. And Matt said, I bet you Assassin's Creed, will be on Kickstarter and have a bazillion miniatures. Yeah, it's come on, so that they're gonna make their miniatures, and that could be pretty. Yeah, that could be a little bit intense, because there's a lot of different historical settings and a lot of assassins now with the 20-some games. But we'll see. So Abyss was saying the irony would be, I think, in Assassin's Creed would become reality to run off and become your own thing out of defiance, and only end up being absorbed back into the fold. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. The we're talking if we're still talking about Paizo. Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, and Matt came up with a new little subtitle for Heroquest. Heroquest: Journey into Disappointment. Yeah, it's too bad. It's too bad they don't see the potential, and they just use their same old production methods and everything. So, yeah, I think $16, $17 for 2 miniatures is a little silly, because these aren't. We're not talking high quality, hips on a plastic on a sprue. We're talking just cheap board game pulled out of the mold too soon, kind of all bent around and misshapen. So yeah, that's too bad. Yeah, yeah. That's yeah. I wonder what's going to happen. So Matt was saying, Wizards of the Coast is the first Hasbro division to make a. Oh, so it was specifically Wizards of the Coast made $1 billion. Wow. So not a billion profit, but a gross billion. Yeah, I guess between Magic and 5e, that's a lot of stuff. And now that they've got digital, I think they're happy with their digital platforms for Wizards too, because a lot of people can play Magic online and 5e online. It's crazy. Yeah, and yeah, Abyss was asking, does Magic really make that much more than D&D? I wonder what the I mean, it's such a speculator thing. That I think the thing that kept it afloat is so many people buy those cards that just buy them to resell them, that are just speculating. So they probably lose a lot of money when they get a bum if they're not really into the mechanics and following kind of the trends, the competitive player trends. I'm sure they can get really burnt. But Matt says he wishes he had a Japanese beer right now. Yes, this is a weird retro. It's not particularly great, but it's an 80s retro Asahi. Yeah, it's okay. It's got a little bit more of a weird bite than their regular beers, but I guess maybe that was the older formula. Mm-mm. Yes. Yeah, it's hard for us to get anything but Japanese beer here. All right. So yeah, Post Malone Magic cards. Yeah, aren't you looking forward to that? Official Post Malone. Yes, yes, Matt. So Matt said, yeah, Magic has officially jumped the shark now that there is a Post Malone, yeah, secret layer drop. Oh man. Oh wow. So Abyss said, any soda would taste great for me right now. I have not had a cold can of Coke in almost a year. Wow. That's great. That's some self-control, though. You don't need that corn syrup. Wow. Uh, yeah. So, yeah, that's. Oh, yeah. Sales. Yeah, during COVID and with live streams. Yeah, yeah. They had a huge peak, and they're definitely going to come down. And hopefully, the investors, like the Hasbro investors, know that that was just a temporary spike based on circumstances, and and available people suddenly didn't have to spend money on gas anymore because they didn't drive to work, or they lost their jobs and had government checks that they spent on their hobbies. uh Wow. So who bought who bought an 800K Black Lotus? Oh no, there was some googling going on. Oh, that's the worst. Oh, and Matt was asking, yeah, I wonder if the skirmish game will use the push mechanic from the Year Zero engine. Yeah, that would be really something. Definitely something new for skirmish games. And yeah, so I wonder if they're kind of telling Andy Chambers, figure out how to get that in there, because that would be fun. It would be fun too, because just like overcharging a plasma pistol or whatever, yeah, there's a chance that things could go very badly. So yeah, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, I hope it is better than WizKid levels. Yeah, what they're showing so far, I don't think is their final product. It looks nice. I mean, the miniatures look like accurate representations of those characters from Mutant Year Zero, but we'll see. There's 3 separate zones that I know of: mutant, humans, and robots. Oh yeah, right. Genetically, yeah. Alpha, no, what was it Gene Lab Alpha? The robot one, right, and then the mutant humans one. Yeah, so they did like three settings for that. Yeah, we played the, I forget what it was called, Mechatron or something. It was okay. I don't like playing robots so well. It's kind of goofy, but I like, after playing the what is it, Lost Eden, or the PC Mutant Year Zero game, I do really like the anthropomorphic animals, especially like a wild boar with a shotgun and stuff. That's fun stuff. They can go charging into a camp. But oh yeah, so Mutant is a licensed IP. Yeah, so yeah, probably they have a good relationship that will help them keep it. But yeah, if Embracer owns it, they can do what they want. If they have a studio that they think will be better, that would really suck. Yes. Oh, there's a lag on the video. Right, right. Yes, you're seeing yourself respond a little bit later. Yeah, so the live stream, yeah, there is about, I think it is about 5 seconds. So Matt in the window is actually not Matt's live response. It's a delay. So his sign language will be a little bit behind. Yes, there's still no audio. We couldn't get that working, but I like the little tiny Japanese style observer of the live stream, and it makes me feel less lonely. I can gaze up. I can gaze up. Oh no, I'm looking at the chat. Gaze up at Matt. I'm forgetting how cameras flip images, and not feel so lonely. Oh yeah. Asahi here is all bottles and tall cans. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, the super dry. Yeah, they probably at the yeah. I wonder why that is. That's interesting. But yeah, I think super dry is getting some international distribution because I've seen that. I've seen that show up in the U.S. But they're always, because Japan is so trendy, they're always doing new flavors and retro things and all that good stuff. Marty. Yes, right now you're seeing time traveling Matt reacting to things that were heard 5 seconds ago. So from what I'm saying, you can actually look in that window and try to predict what Matt's expression will be. It's a fun game that everyone wants to play. How will Matt react? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey Miguel, how's it going? Yes, you missed quite a party. It's a solo cast, so Chris can't be with us, and I have the mute Matt with me because I couldn't get the audio from Discord working with just the one PC. I think we need a Discord call on a separate computer that I can then put into the board. But Miguel has arrived. Good to see you. But yeah. But I did I figured out what the problem was. The stream key was bad in restream, so none of the OBS could do anything with it. So I'll have to reset that at home as well. But it was just I just needed to refresh the streaming key because for some reason Restream just let it die or wouldn't respond. Now I'm going to be belching on the stream. I guess that's why you don't drink beer. But yeah, so that should cure both this stream and the Abuse Cartoons stream. All right. But yeah, and so yeah, getting close to the third episode. I need to start numbering them. I think I'll go back in the titles, renumber them so people can keep them in order, because I'm trying to let you in on the system and like what day, what shift, which is the time of day in the game that they're playing, but that's a little bit too abstract. So I'll just go through and number 1, 2, 3, 4 for the episodes, because I'm trying to cut them into hours, so they're multiple hours in the session. So probably about 2.5, 3 hours of audio from a single session. So yeah, I'll renumber those so people don't lose track of what they're listening to. But we're into day 2. Yeah, episode 3 will bring us into day 2. Nice. Oh yeah, the girl animation gif for Chris. Yes. Well, if we just get Matt to dance so enthusiastically, I think it's going to take a lot of meth or something to get Matt that active. It's going to be pretty painful. Nice. Yes, Chris Chan, our little Chris Chan dancer. Oh man, yeah, that's a thing, isn't it? Sobit says, yeah, Paizo's got to sell minis on. To sell minis on their site. So Miguel saying, not like GW raises prices 50% every time an orc farts. Exactly. Yeah, it's getting crazy. I mean, now in American dollars, they've broken the $200 mark for plastic kits. Like a single, it's a Titan or whatever. It's a or no, it's the giants. It's the fantasy giants. So they broke the $200 yeah, ceiling that they were avoiding for a while, because that sounds like a ridiculous amount of money for a piece of plastic. But it's only up from there, so we can look forward to $300. I think in a year or so we'll be saying, yeah, that $300 lander or tank or whatever. Yeah, I'm sure Horse Heresy will be the first to have a $300 something. Nice. Yeah, they do. Oh, I think they and kind of rightly assume that the Japanese players, if they're into their hobby, they're into their hobby, because Blu-ray and DVD box sets here are multiple hundreds of dollars. If you want to buy like a collection of some old anime series, it's really, really pricey. They really punish you for being a fan of something in Japan. But what they do release is really high quality. But I don't think the Games Workshop prices scare Japanese hobbyists. It's just I don't think it's that popular. I'm sure there's more foreigners playing Warhammer in Japan than Japanese players. Oh wow! Oh yeah, that's right. We'll see. Yeah, they're doing new new pricing. Oh, nice. Getting into Necromunda. Abyss is getting into Necromunda. The terrain pricing is outrageous. Yeah, it's true. And the thing that sucks about that is their terrain, it's a different plastic, and it's all cast. It's all cast in China. So it's all cheap Chinese plastic, and the prices are that ridiculous. So yeah, I noticed that with the first what was it? That blood, what was it called? The thing, the kind of pre-Necromunda release that they did, the Blood Wars or whatever, that was their first Chinese plastic terrain, and yeah, they know how to price Chinese plastic. Yeah, right. A 3D printer would save a lot on that, and they make it kind of modular, but not really. And in a lot of cases, you want to just glue it together anyhow, because in the scenarios that are in the books, there's like specific configurations of the terrain, and yeah, it sucks. It sucks. Yeah, definitely, Matt. Exactly. Yeah, foam, hot wire, glue, paint. You're good to go. Yeah, I really love the terrain builders on YouTube that do the Necromunda stuff. That stuff is so much better, and you can just build huge vertical towers and stuff that Games Workshop they're only going to have in their showrooms and stuff, and like Warhammer World, they'll never actually. You won't be able to do that with their terrain. Well, I mean, unless you spend $10,000. Yeah, somebody did that too. They rebuilt one of the Lord of the Rings settings with foam and things, but with also the Games Workshop terrain, and they had to buy so much of it. It must have been like $500 or $600 of just their shitty plastic, and then supported by all kinds of foam. I forget what that build was. It was one of the newer releases for the Lord of the Rings miniatures game, but it must have cost a fortune. And of course, I think he's got a popular YouTube channel, so maybe he made some of that back, but that had to be hundreds of dollars. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you just see people take like soup cans and vacuum cleaner hose and make amazing Necromunda terrain. Yeah, that's really true. Yeah, I want to find somebody with a Necromunda gang. That would be really fun. I think I might have somebody that wants to play some Kill Team, but I'm not crazy. I guess the new Kill Team rules are okay. I have to play them first. I've just read them, so I have to play them to see if I can stand it. Scratch building terrain is a time-honored hobby. Yes, Miguel, you have got it. Yeah, you got it right. Yeah, there's some really good stuff. And I like in Japan that the 100 yen shops, the dollar stores here, have a lot of cheap materials that work well for terrain. All right. Oh, so Matt was saying I made some Imperial Assault bunkers and stuff with those weird recycled paper molded inserts. They come with electronics boxes. Nice. They look like Star Wars. Right, yeah, if you invert some of those things, they look like Star Wars terrain right out of the box. Yeah, that's right. Because sometimes I keep trays, those vacuum form trays like that come with like cookies and stuff in Japan, because some of them do look like bunkers really well. I don't think they're strong enough that I have to be supported. You couldn't put miniatures on top or much on top, but they look good. They're like a good start, or maybe just using them to actually cast something. Would be fun. All right. Oh, nice. Oh, very cool. Some Halloween trees. Oh, nice. Yeah, I gotta hit up some dollar stores, some 100 yen stores in Japan. Yeah, Syria's got some good stuff. Yeah, and in scale too. That's so funny that it's like they suspiciously have 28 millimeter scale like cargo containers and platforms and stuff. That's really funny that started to happen. Yeah, I've been buying some random Syria stuff. Yeah, that's really funny. Very cool. I'll have to check out those Halloween trees, Miguel. All right. So I think that's going to do it for this week. A little bit shorter without Chris, but it's only me. Oh, you can only take so much of me, as Matt can contest to. Matt's looking nauseous already. But thanks again, everybody, for showing up. And the patrons, thank you so much. Members and patrons, members of the YouTube channel and patrons, thank you so much for supporting what we're doing with the weekly. And we're going to figure out a configuration here that's a little bit more looking at the camera, a little more friendly and open, and less like you're watching a private conversation. But we'll see if that is actually an improvement. The table will always be ready to switch back to to being on opposite sides, but we'll try to see what we can do and play a little bit with the lighting and everything to make it a little more interesting to look at. And who's going to be in the window next week? Will it be you? All right. So enough of this. So take care, everyone. We'll be back again next week. And again, thank you, patrons and members, for really making this happen. You are allowing me to buy a cable that will make the audio work on this mixer, so I'll be able to put Discord. Right? And actually, we should probably even do maybe this section, instead of me just reading what you're saying, we should do a group call on Discord at the end of the live stream. That might be fun. If we can get the audio to sound okay on that, that might be a fun thing to to talk over each other at the end of the stream. All right. So take care, everyone. And thank you, Matt, for hanging out, being reaction cam. Okay. And we'll do this again next week. So take care, everyone, and see you then. Goodbye.